Good day. My name is Lipaz. I'm a professional South African musician. I'm a music producer, a composer, sound engineer, singer, film actor, film director, script writer, film and video editor. I'm a South African by nationality. I dominated the music industry of South Africa during the bubblegum music era, of which was South African music disco by then. I remember when I recorded Jekete and Maoshi Asio Mandembe, which became a number one on the charts around 90s. Many people may ask, who is this Eric Lipaz? Who is this Eric Lipaz? Yes, I was born on the 7th of June in Venda, from Vuani, Gerald. I've recorded 4 albums of Jekete, 5 of Mahoshi, and I've won numerous awards, including gold discs on 4 albums. Before that, let me just try to elaborate from something which has happened before I came to the music industry. I remember in 1987, I composed a song called In the Name of Love for a well-popular artist of that time by the name of Roxley Masebe. He was a gospel musician, and we recorded a song for the National Song Festival, and the song took position 1 provincially. Since by then we only had 4 provinces during those days. It was Transvaal, it was Orange Free State, it was Natal, and Cape, yeah. My song, which was my composition, won in Transvaal, and it competed with other artists from other parts of South Africa. It was a competition of over 24 artists, and I remember the one who took position 1 was Ricardo and Nana Coyote. Number 2 was Yvonne Chaka Chaka. Number 3 was Bloody Makene. Number 4, can't remember the one who took number 4, but number 5, the number 5th song was my song sung by Roxley Masebe. It was quite a beautiful track, In the Name of Love. It took position 5 in the whole of South Africa. That was the greatest achievement of a youngster who has never recorded before, and then I still feel very much proud of that. My real breakthrough into music stardom came in 1991 when we were elected by our record label, the company that we were signed with, and they elected us to be in-house producers. It was me and Dan Nechakuma, also known as Dan Shibaibai. It's very much popular as Dan Shibaibai. As youngsters from school, we just matriculated. We were the youngest producers in the record company and South Africa as the whole. And from that time, as producers, as young producers, we produced and composed for Mahoshi, and we did for Messiah Kids. Messiah Kids, it was these 3 girls. Mahoshi, it was me and Dan and this other gentleman. For Messiah Kids, it was these 3 girls. And we did Target Fire, we did Shabazz, we did Potilo, Jekete, we did My Hero, we did Jagalateka, and many other artists. There were so many artists who depended on our special gifts in melodies of this African song. As a scorer of hit albums, I thereafter steadily began attracting attention, eventually breaking into the Afro-pop mainstream around 2001. Let me reveal this to you now. I'm a multi-ethnic since my parents are Venda and Tsonga. My father is a Venda and my mom, she's a Tsonga. But I grew up comfortably at Dwerani and later moved to Itsani, Chisauru, Shandim. That's where my yen to please a crowd was nourished. I can probably say I was born an entertainer. As a kid, I sang, I danced, I played. I used to play dende. Dende it's something. It's a tune which we used to. We'll put some some rubber strings, 3 rubber strings, and you just to give a different tone, you just press it on the other side. That gives a very good tone. And I think at this stage I still have to make one, and maybe I can just try to record a track with it. And it's just such kind of a nice, beautiful instrument. And marende, if maybe you want to know what is marende, you can download from the internet and see when you say marende, what actually do we mean when vendors are dancing and so forth. Okay, right. As my career has progressed, I've had the pleasure of playing with the cool musicians of the planet, and all this meeting with top musicians never changed my desire to entertain my fans with this Venda Tsonga creamed melodic sound. That's really who I am, up to date, and I won't stop doing that, and I love it most. I still remember, when was it? It was in 1993. Yes, it was 1993 when I produced a legend of African dance beat, Deninkosi, Mr. Gandaganda. Those who grew up listening to disco, South African disco music, they'll recall it. I produced his album Kumakaza. Over the last quarter century, as a composer and a bass guitarist, I've been a fanatical music innovator committed to the exploration of many different art forms on the African musical landscape. And let me say, okay, from 1993 till 1998, if I can recall very well, I was in film industry as an actor. And I was so fortunate to work with international stars like Ice Cube in the movie called The Spear. And I took part in many local films and dramas that was televised in SABC. I remember dramas like Vusi is My Friend. I was there. I was there Kululeka 1 and 2. Kululeka 1 and 2. Kululeka 1 and 2. I was with Joe Mafela, known as Doom. And the late Joe Mafela. I took part in this film, Dr. Vedia, which was an international French movie. Not forgetting this movie, Jock of the Bushveld. Yes, I was there. And there was this Honeytown, and some other dramas publicized in our national television. Acting was tough on financial gains during those days. I could not make ends meet, and I ended up quitting acting due to lack of personal development at that time. The main contributing factor was that acting wasn't paying as much as it is doing today, really. Perchance, I wouldn't have disappeared on screen to date as an actor. From the year 2004 until 2009, I managed to film 12 movies that was well appreciated by all nationalities in South Africa. And our neighboring states, they really liked our movies. I remember I've shipped a lot of movies from here to Lesotho, to Botswana, to Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Swaziland. Those movies were Mpostola 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I produced that, directed that. I did Malume Ligogo, I did Uncle Johnny, I did one or two of these guys from Bloemfontein. Uncle Johnny, I was the main actor there. I did Giboni, I was starring as well. I did Crazy Toilet, I did Akoko Uktola in KZN, and some which I can't remember for now, but I did more than 12 movies. Yeah, I did more than 12 movies. I've produced, I've directed all those movies, scripting, including editing of those films, and it was released under my label, Diamond Entertainment. Noteworthy, I was experiencing a very huge success in my life because I knew my path of where I came from. Let me go back a slight while of my coming to Joburg for the first time. I still can remember very well. I had only 45 rand, 5 cents for transport of coming to Johannesburg from then. And a taxi from Venda to Johannesburg was 45 rand in those days. It was 45 rand, which means I was left with only, how much? 5 cents. And the whole journey of my life, I mean, the rising and the downfall was gliding on the 5 cent surface. Today people can read about me, they can talk about me, they can sing about me, they can sing my music, they can watch my movies, they can write about me, they can praise me, and they can be comforted through my artistic gift of all times. It can be through my music, it can be through my films. People are appreciating all works of my gifts in this industry. The story of 5 Cent has inspired multitudes of youngsters since I've shared it with many magazines and newspapers. I've multiplied those 5 cents to millions of friends since I was in the entertainment business. Hey, but Mushuma Auburai. That's a narrative inventor, which means hard work doesn't care. Mushuma Auburai, honestly. I can still recall being a gardener to so many homes in Soweto. For me to have a food to eat, I will offer myself to do garden landscaping for a plate of food, or food for a day in order to survive. I'm from those situations. I mean, like any other youngster. I remember I once slept in a stationed car for 8 months, not excluding winter. All winters, all months of the winter, including that cold winter in Joburg. Imagine sleeping in a car. I've worked with another gentleman for a period of 18 months as a technician, repairing TVs, radios, and I ended up knowing how to repair cell phones and so forth. And guess what? I was earning 5 rand a day. That is when life really wants to shape you for the best. If a gold can tell a story, it will say, man, I'm from the highest fire, or highest heat of fire. I was burnt with the highest heat in this world. And if you go to the diamond will tell you that I was carved by the very sharpest laser cutter. That is why you love me. You love me because I was sharpened, and I was, it has gone through pains, and I believe through all those hardship, it was a way of shaping. Today I'm a husband. Today I'm a father to my children, and I'm well sheltered. Okay, that's it. Let me continue. It was one good day when table just turned around. It was another day. I was in Midland Zone 10 when I met one of our audience from our public shows in Venda before I came up in Joburg to try my luck. And by those days, I didn't know that during our public performance, there were producers watching us doing what we knew best on stage as young musicians. You can tip there were producers by those. When they tried to explain, I could remember they were there with the white garments, and I asked myself, what are these guys? Those were well-known producers by the name of Petle. They didn't hesitate to invite me to the recording studio the following Monday, since they saw us performing live in Sibasa, in Venda, as youngsters. They produced our album, our first album. I recorded my first album with my friend Dan, and it was fantastic. It was great. It was well appreciated. The album just changed my life to the higher heights of this industry. The hit track Jakete turned gold within 6 months, and that was one of the greatest things ever in my entire life. As a good composer, as a good musician, as a good musician and a good, that things just tend to be totally different from that time. I always say to our up and coming young stars that when you do your thing, do it to the fullest, because you don't know who's watching. Even if there is no one watching or interested in what you are doing, if you are in a right track, aligned to God's standard, angels of heavens are your audience. You will make it. You'll definitely make it. Not really maybe on that day, but surely you'll make it. Can't put a good man down. I grew up, let me just try to elaborate and try to explain where I come from so that you can understand where I come from. I just grew up in a family of 6 without a father. We only it was me, my brothers and sisters, and my mom. She was a renowned Kombuti African beer maker. She used to do mahape, we call it mahape, lachivenda, and she used to do that. And my father passed on when I was only 13 years old. But what I can say is life without a father figure needs one to be sure of where he wants to reach in this life. One should be a person with having this these certain life skills, the listening skills. Listening is so much vital, especially to our guardians. To me, my mom played mother-father role, and we had to pay much more attention to her. I'm what I am today through that love and care of my mom, even though she wasn't educated. After the passing of my dad, she had to go and work, earning 166 rand per month. And we grew under that environment. And but she always wanted the best out of me. To those who want to make it in life, listen very carefully. Listen to this very carefully. I will urge you to be submissive to your elders. And the world will be under your feet. I love this proverb which says, it's a saying which says, a man with a hat in his hand can travel all over the world. You can travel all over the world as long as the hat is in your hand. And it literally doesn't mean a hat, it's a hat symbolizes a respect. A man with a full respect can travel all over the world. Then give a full respect to your elders. And you'll tell, okay, let me come back to my path in this industry. I've worked in many different studios as a sound engineer, and I've worked with musicians such as Queen of Gospel, Rebecca Malope. I've worked with Macalex. I've worked with Ray Phiri, the late Ray Phiri. I've worked with Peter Mukwena. I've worked with the late Dan Chanda. Just to mention a few. All these courses enhances my musical skills to a versatile musician as you know me today. I've been well appreciated both musician and a performer by millions all over the world. And I've always had the dual persona of expert improviser and a vibrant entertainer. I've always placed my keenly discerning art in the service of a rosy good time. Rounding out my singular approach with sly, seductive South African rhythm and soul, I earned myself an impeccable reputation as one of music's most enterprising and engaging stars. They don't just call me a remarkable, versatile, talented, legendary bass guitarist, a performer. And I've worked hard. But I thank you for that. But my journey taught me to play any musical instrument that comes my way. As a guitarist, I've performed more than 144 shows live on stage with groups like Lost Miami Boys. I've performed with Danny Gos's band. I've performed with the King of Shangan Music or Thomas Chauke. I've played for Roxley Masebe and many other bands. And today, as I'm speaking, I'm presently owning a record company called Diamond Records and the recording studio, Diamond Studios, under the big umbrella, huge umbrella, which is called Diamond Entertainment. We record music, we do video and film editing and graphic design. Oh, I didn't tell you, I'm a graphic designer as well. I'm a graphic designer, okay. My involvement as a sound engineer in my music has taken me throughout the country, collecting of young musicians ranging from 11 to 36 years of age. where I've devoted many hours to teaching children about music. I'm currently a director and a founder of the eForce Incorporation. And I've got this latest album of mine, which is called King Dance, which is made up of 14 original tracks. And it's really roaring through the marketplace, and its video has been shot immediately after the recording. It has started to be publicized on SABC and Channel O. This album features the old tracks performed by Shirley Brown. You remember that track, Woman to Woman? And I did this other one called Everything I Do by Bryan Adams. The other one by Bob Marley, Teddy Pendergrass. I recorded those tracks in a house version, and it is doing a wonderful sensation to the audience throughout the country. From the very same album, 4 videos has been geared up to appear on our national television, of which it is an astonishing effort laid to this album. I would like you to remember this. Eric King Lipaz does recording. I do recording. I've got my albums. I'm a graphic designer. I do the artwork designs. I do the photo shoot. I do video shoot. I do film shooting. Video editing. I'm a sound engineer. I play bass guitar. I play lead guitar. I play harmonica. Keyboards, drums, and all. Like I mentioned, a lot of stuff. I'm a performer. I'm a musician. I direct films. I'm an actor as well. I produce music and films. I compose music. I'm a director at Diamond Entertainment. There's more. There's a lot to tell. The sky is the limit. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you so much for supporting me. And thank you for watching this video. And follow me on Facebook page. Follow me on Facebook page. God bless you.
Kali seze